Good afternoon. I'm here today to take a look at Google Meet and how we can use this for parent-teacher interviews in a way that is pretty simple, actually. We're going to need to use some of the new features in Google Meet to make this really genuinely happen, but it's pretty slick. So the first thing I want to point out is I've been using the same Meet link for several months. And it has not been any kind of a problem at all. In order to actually own the Meet, I have to be the first one in to the Google Meet, and that gives me access to all of the host controls. So if I had parent-teacher interviews starting at 4 o'clock after school one day, I would probably go onto my Google Meet link at about 3:30. I would load it up on my screen, and then I would just leave it with the camera turned off and the microphone turned off for the half hour until 4 o'clock. And by then, I probably have my first set of booked parents who have come in to join my Meet and wait their turn. So if we look up in the top right-hand corner, so I'm in the Meet with two other accounts. I've used my son's account as one to demonstrate, and then I've used our learning support teacher account. Now, to be clear, parents do not need to have a Gmail address for this to work. We have got the settings on the server set so that anyone can join the Meet. They just need your address and they need to click join. So up on the top here, I've got my People tab. Looks the same as it did back in the spring. A couple new things on there, but I can see who all's in and I can see the people are muted, and I've even got some ability to do some controls there, including removing people from a meeting if I had to. I've got some host controls here. We're not going to get too far into this stuff because that's for another video. I really just am here to talk about how to use this for parent-teacher interviews. The third one here, this little geometric button, when we hit it, we've got some new things that were not here in the spring. The one we're going to use for parent-teacher interviews is breakout rooms. Now, I've already renamed my breakout rooms, and you can do the same in advance of your parent-teacher interviews if you prefer to. So I'm going to go into a breakout room, and you can see that I've got two breakout rooms labeled. Now I can change the number if I want to have. I can't have less than two, but I can definitely have more than two. And so I can have many, many breakout rooms. But for parent-teacher interviews, I really actually only even want one breakout room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my first parent into the interview room, and I'm going to drag myself into the interview room. Now, nothing happens until I, as the host, open the rooms. Those rooms are not active until I click on this. So I'm going to open the rooms, and it's going to send a message to both myself and the parent in question stating, "You've been invited to join interview room. You can return to the main call at any time." So people can remove themselves from breakout rooms, but they cannot put themselves into breakout rooms. So as the host, I'm going to join this meeting room, and I'm going to just click on the computer I've got set up here for my person who's joining me. And so now it tells me at the top I am in the breakout room called interview room. If I look over here, it's green, and I see it's just me and learning support teacher. The main call, which is where everybody arrives at when they enter your address for the meeting, they're out there in the main call. And so I would think of this as being the hallway outside your classroom. Or if you've done parent-teacher interviews in the gymnasium, that's kind of that central area where the parents mill around waiting for the teacher they want to talk to. And sometimes they chat with each other and sometimes they don't. And so this is the same type thing. You really don't need to be concerned if the parents who are coming in, if they've overlapped on their time. Now, they'd have to be coming in fairly early to genuinely overlap with another set of parents. But you really don't need to concern yourself with that because it's not different than if they came into our physical buildings, ran into a neighbor, and started chit-chatting for a little bit. So you don't have to give them all a private address. We have the breakout rooms for privacy. So right now I'm in the interview room, and I'm conducting my interview with this particular set of parents. And when my time is up, I'm going to go to Edit Rooms. I'm going to remove learning support teacher, who's the parent I was just talking to, and I'm going to remove myself. And that's going to save it. So I'm going back to the main call, and it's informing me. So I'm not ever left wondering which space am I in and who am I talking to. So I'm going to go back to the main call, and I'm going to talk to the parents who are now in the main call area and let them know that I'm ready to chat with them. We're going to just have this first set of parents leave. So I'm even going to close the tab over here on this other computer so that it's like they left. So now I'm in the main call and I need to pay attention to this over here. So learning support teacher now has left. We've had our conversation. Now I want to edit the room, and I'm going to bring myself in here, and I'm going to bring my next parent in to talk to. Right now there's nobody in the main call, but I assume that while I'm talking to these parents, the next people who have me booked are going to show up. So I still want to be using the interview room so that we don't get interrupted. So now I get this same message again that I've been invited to join interview room. Yes, I invited myself, but at the same time, I really do like the fact that it keeps notifying me where I'm moving to in this virtual space. So I'm going to join the interview room. And now I can see at the top of the screen that I'm in the breakout room called interview room. I can have my conversation with Sam about how his child's doing in my class. When the next people come in, I'm likely to see them up here. If I don't, I'll exit break room and I'll go into the list of people where I can see them all, and then I'll just return to this breakout room screen. So it's really, really easy to pull the parents into where you can have a private conversation with them and then exit them back out of the space where you have the private conversation. Really, if you picture this as the hallway of the school and this is your classroom where you bring people in to talk to, it's pretty straightforward. So that's one of the ways that we can use Google Meet in a really simple manner that doesn't involve a whole lot of different addresses and you having to change back and forth and keep on top of that. You can literally navigate people through your parent-teacher interviews using the breakout rooms. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to fire me an email and I'll try to clear up anything that I've been a little hazy on. I hope all goes well for you with your parent-teacher interviews, and as always, I am here to help if there's anything I can be doing.